people, it's your girl Yana and I'm back today with yet another video. And you guys, I am super excited for today's video because you and I are going to be taking a look at a bunch of videos that are supposedly going to make us breathe manually. Like, apparently that is how scary some of these videos are. So if you guys are ready, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into the video.
Imagine recording a selfie video after an emergency landing in the Pacific Ocean. That's what this pilot did in August of 2019 when two aircrafts were taking part in an aerial photo shoot. The video captures the aftermath of an emergency landing in Half Moon Bay near San Francisco. One of the planes, a single-engine Beechcraft Bonanza, malfunctioned, losing power. Video footage from above caught the landing, which was an admirably safe one.
I literally cannot imagine experiencing something like this, especially as someone who's a nervous flyer to begin with. It looks like the pilot was able to safely land onto the water and actually even ended up taking a selfie video as the plane was sinking, which is honestly kind of iconic.
The plane can be seen in the video going bottoms up, sinking nose first into the ocean. The pair, in fairly good spirits all things considered, managed their best to stay afloat, although David notes the water is quite cold.
The water's a little bit cold, but we're alright. I set it down real easy.
No one got hurt.
No, we're good. Did everything right?
Thankfully, overhead, his fellow pilots sent mayday calls to the Coast Guard, alerting them to the incident. Still, the pair were risking hypothermia in cold water for around 40 minutes by the time a Coast Guard helicopter that was on a training mission arrived. David continued filming as they were being airlifted out of there. Although they certainly were lucky, they didn't make it out pain-free. While waiting, they'd been repeatedly stung by jellyfish.
So they actually had to wait up to 40 minutes in this really cold water to get rescued. And it looks like while they were waiting, they ended up getting stung by a bunch of jellyfish. Now let me tell you, I have been stung by a jellyfish and it is no fun. It burns, okay? I'm honestly very impressed with their positive attitude and outlook on this entire incident. I feel like I would have been freaking out a lot more than they were. And honestly, that's probably why they made it out safe, is because they kept their composure. So good for them.
Published to YouTube in December of 2019, Brandon Gross writes, "My friend Danielle took me into one of the craziest caves I've ever seen. I'm very bad with tight spaces and decided to face my fears. Would he live to regret it?" The footage follows the pair squeezing into a tight slot. Holding onto a rope, they descend into what can only be a claustrophobic nightmare. As the underground cave gets tighter and more suffocating by the minute, the cave widens and narrows, but at one point, Brandon notes that the space into which he intends to squeeze is only as wide as the length of his foot. Slithering through the caves, they finally reach the bottom cavern. When they start to continue exploring the claustrophobic corners, Brandon experiences a brief panic attack but continues on. Seeing his friend Danielle wriggle ahead as she navigates further restrictive spaces would make anyone squirm, and squirm Brandon does, but he manages to make his way back to the light. When at last Brandon squeezes his way out of the hole, he celebrates being free from that claustrophobic nightmare.
When I tell you, you will absolutely never catch me cave diving, I mean it. I honestly don't even get the point or the enjoyment in doing this. You're putting yourself in an insane amount of danger. You could get stuck and run out of oxygen so easily. I just feel like it is not worth it for the experience. But I mean, shout out to these guys, I guess, for like having the courage to do it. Some of the crevices that they were squeezing through just looked way too small for anyone to fit through. I feel like getting a panic attack in a place like that would just be my worst freaking nightmare. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys would ever try out cave diving.
Are you heading out to a Seaside Restaurant tonight? You might want to reconsider. Published to YouTube by Ed Hadd in March of 2014. They wrote, "Jill Freeland, the artist and videographer, was having breakfast this morning at Moby Dick's with her family and got a little more sea salt than was on the menu." The footage shows the restaurant overlooking a stormy gray sea. While the customers await their meal, they helplessly watch as the waves take on a life of their own. They probably think they're safe inside, but boy are they wrong.
These people are literally just trying to have a peaceful lunch on the seaside, and clearly a humongous wave ruined it all for them. I am surprised water got into the restaurant because I would have expected it to like be sealed. To be honest with you, I don't really know what I'm talking about, so I could be wrong.
Time to go.
The water crashes against the window and glass shatters as the spectators scream. Someone calmly says, "Time to go," and the customers are told to leave the restaurant, which they do without argument. It appears that no one was hurt in the incident, but they certainly saw firsthand how indifferent Mother Nature is to brunch.
So it looks like the reason that the water ended up getting into the restaurant is because the force was so strong that it ended up shattering the windows. Honestly, if something like that happened to me, I would be so annoyed.
Baby monitors sometimes capture that which we don't even know is there. This creepy clip was posted to r/ghosts by Zealous Ideal Call 53. It shows a monitor placed in a child's bedroom. The baby is playing while her guardian appears to be on her phone. All is normal until you turn up the sound. A growl of a voice snarls "help me" 3 times in a row at the beginning of the video. Neither the baby nor the young woman in the video appears to hear the voice.
Whoa, that was a very clear voice. That's kind of terrifying because where the hell was that coming from? And also, why didn't the mom or the baby notice it?
Is it crossed wires with a nearby baby monitor? Did someone hack the monitor's sound? Or is it an EVP capturing someone beyond crying out for help? The Redditor explains in the comments that this isn't the only strange occurrence in their house, and that paranormal events have regularly been happening since she was pregnant. The Redditor writes, "We've had another incident with her nanny cam and seeing a black shadow near her, an orb, and her suddenly waking up screaming. I've had issues in my own room with the feeling of someone watching me, breathing on my neck, severe night terrors, and missing items that suddenly return. Does this give more credence to the presence of a paranormal entity? My answer is yes."
Given that they've already had a ton of paranormal activity in the house, and the fact that they've seen both shadows and orbs and felt like they've been watched, very clearly something is going on in this house. I guess someone could have hacked the nanny cam and that's where the noises were coming from, but still that wouldn't explain all the other paranormal activity that they experienced. If I were this family, I would definitely consider moving.
Better safe than sorry. This video proves that saying couldn't be more true. A mother in Cork, Ireland was threatened via letter by a former work colleague. In fact, he was watching her, and CCTV footage caught her terrifying ordeal on camera. After someone had painted her car tires pink and put X's and O's on the car's windows, as well as the message "I win," the homeowner, Una Ring, installed a CCTV camera outside her home. It captured her work colleague posting a menacing letter to the windshield of her car. What it said was so disturbing I can't say it here. Thankfully, a civilian police force known as Guardians of the Peace of Ireland were made aware of the lurkers' threats and were surveilling Una's home.
Is this man literally a child? Why is he leaving notes on her car? Clearly this guy has something wrong with him, because why are you stalking and bothering this poor woman?
What followed was the lurker's escalation. He came around Una's with a crowbar in hand and was caught on camera approaching her property. He was also discovered to be in possession of rope and duct tape. The suspect was confronted by the protectors and was taken into custody. Una says she owes her life to them. The creep was given 5 years behind bars for his actions.
That escalated very quickly. Out of nowhere, he came around the corner holding a freaking crowbar. I'm assuming he was either going to destroy her car or like break into her house. Either way, he was definitely not gonna do anything good. So thankfully the officers intervened intervened just in time and arrested him, and it looks like he's gonna be spending some time behind bars, which honestly he definitely deserves, because what the hell was that?
When performing at the theater, more often than not you hope to entertain, but some audience are not very lively. Originally published by YouTuber Phil Koch, this footage shows a paranormal investigation. While exploring a haunted theater, Phil kicks back in his theater seat, sitting alone in the dark room. A wide shot shows no one in the aisle behind Phil. The row is entirely empty. Little does he know he's in for more than a show. Watch the seat to his left behind him. While sitting there staring forward, the seat shudders back and forth, as if someone pushed it down to sit but then decided against it. Although he couldn't have seen the movement, the sound sends Phil fleeing the scene, likely without any desire for an encore. Perhaps this entire theater is reserved for the passed on, and he and his paranormal team disturbed a packed house.
I've actually heard of a lot of theaters being haunted. We actually have a few haunted theaters in Toronto. I don't really know what it is about theaters, but a lot of them do have a lot of crazy paranormal activity. The way that chair seat pulled down, it fully looked like someone was trying to sit in the seat. It's honestly really scary.
But another investigation by Phil is gaining much traction in the Spanish-speaking community. While investigating, this door opens right in front of him, and people are claiming to see this figure.
It's still back here again, and we'll take a look.
Are you kidding me? That is so freaking traumatizing. I truly have never seen a creature like that in my entire life. I don't know if that is some sort of demon or some sort of like skinwalker thing, but it looks really freaking terrifying. However, it is hard to tell if the creature in the picture is the creature that was behind the door. I do think the footage is a bit too dark to be able to tell. Either way though, that door just swinging open by itself was absolutely insane. I bet that guy was shook for a while after that.
We may have just discovered the soundtrack to your nightmares. Published to YouTube by Column A in June of 2019. This clip shows a young man in a prison cell, no context given. He speaks to the camera and, in the midst of his monologue, he gives a strange, otherworldly shriek like a velociraptor. Why? Well, YouTubers have a wealth of hypotheses. For example, Lord Woody thinks that the man is sucking the soul out of the cameraman. I just know if I were in this situation, I'd be getting the heck out of there.
I'm not sure about him sucking the soul out of the cameraman, but he's definitely doing something, I'll tell you that. I just have no freaking clue what it is. He definitely did sound like a bit of a dinosaur when he made that noise. I don't know, out of context, it's definitely a little bit weird, like what the hell is he doing? Honestly, I think he's just being weird. I don't think there's anything like paranormal going on here.
This video follows a motorcyclist minding his own business on the open road. Wearing a GoPro, he manages to capture a white truck in front of him. Nothing out of the ordinary. Ahead, the truck pulls over to the side of the road. This too appears innocent enough, but after passing the white truck and later taking a turn onto a side street, the biker returns to the main road, and the same white truck now a ways ahead pulls over again, letting him pass a second time. The biker starts to wonder what's going on. Even more worrisome, he thinks the truck is following him. He suspects the driver might be trying to record his license plate to report him for something, although he says he hasn't done anything to report. He again pulls over at an intersection and attempts to wait out the suspect, who has stopped as well. The biker says the man in the truck is attempting to wave him on. After a brief face-off, the biker turns to the left, noting the guy's plate number and saying he was taking pictures of him. While the video doesn't come to any concrete conclusion about what the white truck wanted, the biker suspects that he's dealt with the same man before.
Initially, I was very concerned about why the white truck was following the biker, but since he was trying to record him and take pictures of him, I am gonna go ahead and assume that maybe he was going to report him to the police, either for the bike being too loud or just for his driving, which honestly, whoever is in that white truck is definitely being a big Karen. Like, it's not that serious. Why are you literally following this guy around the entire neighborhood? neighborhood, especially because he seems to be driving completely fine, like he's not speeding or anything. So just like mind your own freaking business. I don't know.
What lurks in your alley in the middle of the night? This video may surprise you. Published to YouTube by Tasklock in March of 2021, the security footage was recorded on the 30th of December 2020 at around 4 in the morning. An empty road with a few motorcycles and bicycles parked along each side, still in the darkness, at least for the moment. Suddenly, someone invisible decides to take this bike out for a spin. The motorcycle abruptly pulls out into the road, turning in place. At one point, it slows in its turning, then jerks forward and continues in its path before falling over on the side in the middle of the road. Could this just be something mechanical malfunctioning in the bike? Or did a ghost realize he didn't have enough momentum mid-launch?
I don't think we've ever seen a ghost trying to operate a motor vehicle. And I mean, clearly they're not very good at it. But it fully looks like an invisible person just sat on the bike, started it, and tried to drive it around. I guess it could have been some sort of camera glitch, or it could have been edited. Definitely let me know in the comments what you guys think.
This video reminds every paranormal explorer to be always on their guard. The Redditor is driving down a dirt road at night in what appears to be the boonies with no lights around apart from a faint, distant glow, and yet in the middle of nowhere they come upon a rundown white house. He spotlights its empty and broken windows, nothing else. That is, until he zooms in on a center window. Here appears a white hooded figure without discernible features. The realization of what they're seeing scares them enough to drop their camera and drive away. He also shares some still photos with varying exposures that he took from the clip. What do you see in the Rorschach ink blot? This is only a test.
I mean, to me, that fully looks like a person standing in that window. Now, it can either be a ghost or like an actual person just crashing in the house. I guess there's really no way for us to find out. Either way, that picture was really scary. It honestly didn't even look like a person. It looked more like some sort of like a ghost or skinwalker. And if that's the case, then I'm really glad they got the hell out of there. But all right, you guys, we finally made it to the end of this video. Definitely let me know in the comments which clip scared you the most. I have to admit that clip from the haunted theater is definitely gonna stick with me because whatever creature was behind that door was truly terrifying. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. I love you guys so much and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Bye.